Captured by the Galactic Empress. The first thing Commander Arin Vale saw when he awoke was the light. It was not the harsh glare of an interrogation chamber nor the cold fluorescence of a prison block. It was golden, soft and radiant, pouring down from a vaulted ceiling of living crystal that shimmered like a captive sunrise. He lay on a smooth obsidian floor, wrists bound in bands of pale energy that hummed gently against his skin. So this is how it ends, he thought. His last memory was of his cruiser, the Valiant Dawn, torn apart above the crimson rings of Kepler, 442. The Galactic Empire had arrived without warning, sleek warships unfolding from hyperspace like silver blades. Arin had ordered his crew to retreat while he stayed behind to draw fire. He had expected death. Instead he had been captured. A line of armored sentinels stood at the edge of the chamber, their helms faceless and seamless. Beyond them rose a dais of translucent crystal. Upon it rested a throne carved from something that looked like frozen starlight. And seated upon that throne was the Galactic Empress. She did not wear a crown. She did not need one. Her presence alone bent the air around her, an aura of quiet, absolute power. Her robes flowed like nebulae, deep indigo threaded with constellations that shifted as she moved. "Commander Arin Vale," she said, her voice carrying across the vast chamber without echo. "The last defender of the Terran coalition." He forced himself upright. "If you're expecting me to kneel, Your Majesty, you'll be disappointed." A flicker of amusement crossed her face. Bold. Even in chains. He met her gaze. Her eyes were not a single color but many, like galaxies turning in miniature. "You destroyed my fleet. You burned our colonies. What more do you want?" Silence settled between them, heavy and electric. "I want truth," she said at last. The words unsettled him more than any threat. They brought him before her throne, though the energy bands remained. The sentinels withdrew, leaving them alone in the colossal hall. "You have been at war with my empire for 12 cycles, she continued. "You claim we invaded your territories. You claim we are conquerors." "You are conquerors," Arin snapped. "Your banners fly over worlds that once governed themselves." She rose from her throne, descending the steps slowly. Close, she seemed almost human, almost. But there was something ancient in the way she moved, like gravity itself had chosen a form. "And what," she asked quietly, "would you have done if your coalition had discovered us first?" Arin opened his mouth, and hesitated. He had seen the coalition Senate debates. Expansion, resource acquisition, preemptive security measures. The language had been polished and diplomatic. Would they have invaded? He pushed the thought away. "We defend ourselves." "As do we." She stopped a pace away from him. The air tingled. "You are not here to be executed, Commander," she said. "You are here because I need someone who still believes in something." He laughed bitterly. "You mistake me for a diplomat." "No," she said softly. "I mistake you for a man who stayed behind so his crew could live." The words struck harder than any blow. "How do you know that?" he demanded. "Because I watched." The chamber shifted. The walls of crystal dissolved into swirling light, revealing a projection of space. His battle. His ship spiraling through fire. His final command transmitted across the comm. She had witnessed it all. "I do not seek endless war," the Empress said, her gaze fixed on the image. "But my generals do. They whisper of total annihilation. They see your coalition as a threat that must be erased." "And you disagree?" Arin asked. "I believe annihilation is a failure of imagination." The projection faded. "You captured me to negotiate," he said. "I captured you," she replied, "to offer you a choice." He was taken to a balcony overlooking the heart of the imperial capital, a city suspended above a gas giant, its structures arcing like silver spines against a violet sky. Starships drifted in ordered patterns far below. "This is what you fight," she said, standing beside him. "Not monsters. Not tyrants. Families. Citizens. A civilization that fears extinction as much as yours. Arin leaned against the crystalline railing. If I return to my people, they'll see me as compromised. A prisoner turned puppet. Then do not return as a prisoner, she said. He looked at her sharply. Become my envoy, she continued. A bridge between our empires. You have seen our world. You will speak of it honestly. Not as propaganda. Not as a threat. And if I refuse? Her expression did not change. Then the war continues. And eventually, one of us will burn the other from the stars. The wind of the gas giant roared faintly through energy shields. He thought of his crew, of young Ensign Mira, who had cried when she received her first command assignment, of Captain Rourke, who had believed in the Coalition's righteousness without question. He thought of Earth. You're asking me to trust you, he said. I am, she replied. And I am risking everything by asking. For the first time he saw it, the weight she carried. Not cruelty. Not ambition. Responsibility. If I accept, he said slowly, I won't lie for you. I would not have it any other way. He studied her face, searching for deception. He found none. Only resolve and something else. Oh. Release my surviving crew, he said. Send them home. Let them tell our people I am alive. They will be returned unharmed, she agreed. And you'll halt your fleet's advance while I negotiate. For one cycle, she said. No more. It wasn't much. But it was a beginning. Arin extended his bound hands. Then remove these. She stepped forward, placing her fingers lightly against the glowing bands. They dissolved in a shimmer of light. You are no longer my prisoner, Commander, the Galactic Empress said. You are my envoy. He flexed his wrists, feeling the weight of the moment settle on his shoulders. Then let's try to save two empires, he replied. Above them, the stars burned cold and distant. For years, they had been witnesses to hatred and fire. Now, perhaps they would witness something else. Not conquest, not surrender, but the fragile, dangerous courage of peace. The day Arin returned to Coalition space, half the fleet locked targeting arrays onto his transport. He stood alone in the docking corridor of Horizon Station. No weapons, no guards. Only the Imperial insignia stitched discreetly at the shoulder of his uniform. It felt heavier than armor. Admiral Taran waited at the far end, flanked by security officers. His once mentor's expression was carved from stone. You stand alive, the Admiral said coldly. After the Empire annihilated 3 of our colonies. I stand alive, Arin answered, because she chose not to annihilate more. A murmur rippled through the chamber. They've halted their advance, Arin continued. For one cycle. No fleet movements. No orbital bombardments. No expansion. And what do they want in return? Taran demanded. Talks. Transparency. Borders recognized by mutual accord. Or the war resumes. And next time we may not survive it. Silence stretched thin. Arin stepped forward. I've seen their capital. I've seen their people. They're not demons, Admiral. They're afraid. Just like we are. You trust her? Taran asked. Arin thought of the balcony above the gas giant. Of the Empress's steady gaze. Of the risk she had taken. Yes, he said. The answer carried more weight than any weapon. Weeks later, beneath a neutral star at the edge of contested space, 2 armadas faced one another in uneasy stillness. Between them hovered a single diplomatic platform. The Galactic Empress arrived without escort. Arin met her at the center of the platform. For a moment neither spoke. The vacuum shimmered beyond the energy field. Stars scattered like embers across endless dark. You returned, she said quietly. I gave them the truth, he replied. Nothing more. Nothing less. And they're listening. Behind him, coalition envoys stepped forward. Across the platform, imperial ministers did the same. No weapons drawn. No shields raised. The Empress extended her hand. Not as a ruler. As an equal. Arin took it. The gesture was small, almost fragile against the vastness of space. Yet across both fleets, sensors recorded it. Across two civilizations, transmissions carried the image. Not surrender. Not dominance. Negotiations stretched for days. Accusations surfaced. Histories dissected. Grievances laid bare. There were moments when voices rose and hands tightened near concealed triggers. But each time, Arin and the Empress anchored the room, reminding both sides what waited beyond failure. Extinction. At last, an accord formed. Not perfect, not without compromise, but real. Borders redrawn. Disputed systems declared shared territories. Military expansions frozen under mutual oversight. When the final seal was placed upon the treaty, a signal pulsed outward to both armadas. Stand down. Across the darkness, weapons powered down one by one. Engines shifted from combat readiness to drift. War, for the first time in 12 cycles, did not resume. Arin stood beside the Empress as their fleets slowly withdrew in opposite directions. Not enemies retreating, but neighbors creating space. "You have changed the course of history, Commander," she said. "So have you," he answered. Above them, the stars burned as they always had. But now they shone upon something rarer than victory. They shone upon peace.